Tech Weekly with Jake Brown.
My life.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 16 of Tech Weekly. Tech Weekly is a show that happens every Friday night from 8 o'clock to 8:15. I tell you the biggest tech news that has happened in the past week in under 15 minutes. First up, I'm announcing that our new forum is now active, so make sure that you sign up by going to the techprofessor.net, which will also be linked down in the description. If you have any tech questions or you heard about something cool in the tech news world, feel free to post. Now for some even bigger news. The new NVIDIA 3000 series cards have been announced. They announced 3 cards, the 3070 priced at $499, the 3080 priced at $699, the 3090 being priced at a whopping $1499. The 3070 will still be a more capable card than the prior RTX 2080 at a much lower cost, and the performance bump will put the RTX 3070 comfortably above the 1080 Ti and 1080 cards for 1440p gaming. This RTX 3070 card will also use similar cooling solution to the RTX 3080 with NVIDIA's promises of improved thermals and a quieter operation. In addition to this, the card uses 5,888 CUDA cores combined with a 1.71 GHz boost clock and 8 GB of GDDR6 VRAM or memory. For the 3080, NVIDIA has promised performance will be up to 2 times the base of the RTX 2080. NVIDIA's RTX 2080 Ti ushered in solid frame rates for 4K gaming 2 years ago, and the RTX 3080 looks like it will deliver the performance improvements needed for 4K gaming at 144 Hz in modern AAA titles. What's really crazy is that NVIDIA launched its RTX 2080 Ti at $1199, and the RTX 3080 will debut for $699 on September 17th. The 3080 is using 8,704 CUDA cores on the RTX 3080 combined with a 1.71 GHz boost clock. This all adds up to nearly 30 teraflops of performance, which is nearly 3 times the PS5 and more than double the Xbox Series X. Finally, for the big guy, the 3090. The RTX 3090 is more akin to be the Titan line of NVIDIA cards and includes a massive 24 GB of GDDR6X memory. NVIDIA is promising that the RTX 3090 will be capable of 60 frames per second gaming or 60 FPS gaming at 8K resolutions. Since this new flagship card is more akin to the Titan series, as I said earlier, it's priced at $1499. The RTX 3090 is based on NVIDIA's Ampere GPU architecture, which promises some impressive performance gains for PC gaming and ray tracing. NVIDIA claims that the RTX 3090 is the world's first 8K gaming GPU, with 8K HDR, shadow play support, HDMI 2.1, and a whole lot more. NVIDIA is using 10,496 CUDA cores on the RTX 3090, combined with a boost clock of 1.70 or 1.71 GHz. And then again, this will have a whopping 24 gigabytes of GDDR6X VRAM. Now, to go along with all of this, for you Fortnite fans out there, NVIDIA also announced that Epic Games is bringing real-time ray tracing to the PC version of Fortnite. When ray tracing launched with the RTX 20 series, NVIDIA struggled to attract large-scale games to adopt right away, but support is growing and it doesn't get much larger in scale than Fortnite, which is one of the most popular games in the world. Now, I know that was a lot of information, but it was a huge event. Anyway, next up, Nintendo is releasing a 35th anniversary Super Mario Bros. Game and Watch, as you can see up here. They're going back to the beginning with a modern version of its original Game & Watch handheld that's been revamped with a full-color LCD. It can play Super Mario Bros. In honor of the franchise's 35th anniversary. The handheld was announced during a surprise Nintendo Direct showcase. The design is based on the original Plus control pad from 1980, and like the original Game & Watch device, it also functions as a digital clock, which includes a 35 little touches and Easter eggs to celebrate the milestone anniversary. The Game & Watch Super Mario Bros. Handheld will be released on November 13th in a limited production for about $50. To go along with this, Nintendo has also turning the original Super Mario Bros. Into a 35-player battle royale game called Super Mario Bros. 35, available on October 1st exclusively to the Nintendo Switch Online subscribers. Super Mario Bros. 35 looks to offer a similar design to Tetris 99, another Switch Online exclusive battle royale. In the Mario version, all 35 players will play through a Mario level simultaneously until only one player is left standing. Any enemies that you defeat in your version of the level will be sent over to other players from them to deal with. Like Tetris 99, you'll be able to see the progress of all 34 of your opponents surrounding your display and choose to target specific players based on who has the most coins, the lowest coins, who's attacking you, or randomly. Additionally, players will be able to spend their own coins on an item roulette wheel for power-ups. Nintendo is only planning on making Super Mario Bros. 35 available for a few months. It'll launch on October 1st and be playable until March 31st, 2021. Moving on, the investigation of the unpredicted Twitter hack earlier this summer has produced a new suspect, a 16-year-old from Massachusetts, according to a new report from the New York Times. This new suspect would be the youngest of the group of conspirators spanning the US and the UK, a group of now totaling 4 individuals who together planned and then pulled off account takeovers of dozens of high-profile Twitter users to promote a Bitcoin scam. It's still unclear which members had direct control of the internal Twitter systems and how exactly they gained access beyond somehow tricking companies' employees, but the supposed mastermind of the hack is believed to be a 17-year-old Floridian Graham Ivan Clark, who has been charged as an adult with 30 felonies. The others include a 19-year-old Mason John Shepherd of the UK and 22-year-old Nima Fazeli of Orlando, Florida. Now, the Times reports a third person, the Massachusetts teenager, may have also been involved in the planning of the attack, and that both the unnamed teen and Clark were jointly responsible for posting tweets to the accounts belonging to Barack Obama, Joe Biden, Elon Musk, and others. That's an important detail because Clark was believed to have been the only one of the group to have used the internal tools. Now, on to our favorite news, Apple news. Apple on Monday announced that its new App Store appeal process, first revealed at WWDC in June. They revealed that it is now live, meaning developers can challenge Apple over whether their app is in fact violating one of its guidelines. In addition to that, Apple says developers can also suggest changes to the App Store guidelines through a form submission on its online developer portal. For apps that are already on the App Store, bug fixes will no longer be delayed over guideline violations except for those related to legal issues. You'll instead be able to address guideline violations in your next submission as posted on Apple's developer website. And now, in addition to appealing decisions about whether an app violates guidelines, you can suggest changes to the guidelines. Over to Intel news. They have just announced their new 11th gen processors, and alongside the launch, the company is also rolling out a new minimalist logo, the third logo that the company has ever used. The fresh design replaces the previous branding with the Intel wordmark enclosed in a circle that has been used by the company in various forms since 2006. The new logo will also accompany a brand-wide refresh for Intel with more minimalist design for everything from Intel's Xeon servers to its Optane memory chips. While the new logo is a fresh look for the brand with a boxier font and than the clipped curved of the 2006 integration, it does maintain plenty of elements from both the previous designs, including the square-capped eye. Intel is introducing some new aspects to the logo too. While the classic blue color that it's used for decades will still be a strong part of the brand, the company is expanding to new variants with more colors, like a secondary color for the dot and the eye in some cases. The company is also keeping the iconic 5-note bong, although it promises that it'll have a modernized version to match the logo later this year. And speaking of Intel's 11th gen chips, Asus announced that their next wave of Zenbook laptops for release later this fall will run on Intel's new 11th gen processors. And in addition, most of the upcoming laptops will feature Thunderbolt 4 ports rather than Thunderbolt 3 ports. Unfortunately, they have not shared any of the pricing for these models. Last week on Tech Weekly, I shared a leaked video of LG's new Wing phone, and this week LG has provided the first public acknowledgement of its rumored Wing handset, said to be a device with 2 screens in a swiveling form factor. A teaser video posted to YouTube hints at the sliding mechanism and serves as an invitation to an announcement event on September 14th. In a separate press release, LG says the new device will be part of an initiative and product category it calls the Explorer Project. The project is intended to deliver much-needed curiosity and excitement to the mobile sector, LG says, and will focus solely on new usability that is discovered with innovative designs. The recently released Velvet, meanwhile, will form part of LG's Universal line. From what we know so far, the Wing has indicated that it'll have one screen behind another that can be rotated 90 degrees horizontally, resulting in a T-shaped dual-screen device. Over to another company that has been in the news a lot lately. TikTok's high-profile search for a U.S. buyer is hitting a roadblock after weeks of public negotiations and months of national security debates. A string of reports from Reuters, Bloomberg, and the Wall Street Journal describes a growing stalemate over the algorithm behind TikTok's For You page, arguably the most important piece of the software that the company has. That algorithm has become a sticking point between the U.S. and China, and what happens to the algorithm now seems like the central issue for any possible deal. First, publicly confirmed on August 2nd, the proposed TikTok acquisition comes in response to months of escalating concerns about Chinese ownership of the app used by millions of Americans. Microsoft, Oracle, and Triller have all put bids in to purchase TikTok's operations in the US, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, which is roughly 30% of worldwide users, to allay the concerns. The details of the acquisition were still in flux, but is estimated to be worth around $30 billion, and Microsoft has committed to either finalizing or dropping the deal by September 15th. But this week has seen some new concerns over TikTok's algorithm. On Friday, China quietly added personalized content recommendation algorithms to its list of export-controlled items, throwing the deal into chaos. The new export control means that any recommendation algorithm, like the one that powers TikTok's For You page, will need government approval before it can be sold to a foreign company. We don't know exactly how China will interpret that clause, but the assumption from most of the observers is that the government will block the sale of the algorithm, presenting a huge problem for any potential deal for TikTok. The For You page is the heart of TikTok's appeal. It's the product that will let you scroll for hours and still find new and interesting content. Without that algorithm, the Microsoft version of TikTok, or MicroTalk, if you will, wouldn't be worth very much. So now all 3 bidders are left scrambling for a way to make the deal work. Back over to Apple news. Apple has accidentally approved common malware disguised as an update for Adobe Flash Player to run on macOS. This is all according to security researcher Patrick Wardle, who said that Apple approved an app that contained code used by a well-known malware called Slayer. Slayer is a Trojan downloader that spreads through fake applications, bombarding users with an influx of adware. Slayer is the most common threat to Mac's cybersecurity and antivirus firm Kaspersky said in 2019. Wardle says this is the first time he knows of that, and Apple mistakenly notarized malware following the debut of its new notarization process. Apple announced the macOS notarization process in 2019, requiring every app to be reviewed by Apple and signed by a developer before it can run on macOS. even if they are being distributed outside of the Mac App Store. After discovering the malware, Wordle contacted Apple, and the company disabled the developer account associated with the app and revoked its certificate. The attackers reportedly managed to notarize the malware again, but Apple told TechCrunch that both the old and new malware had their notarization revoked. Now for Lightning News. Lightning News is a bunch of short articles that I share with you relatively quickly. First, on September 8th, 2020, CBS All Access is holding an all-day streaming event to commemorate the 54th anniversary of the premiere of the original Star Trek television show. For US-based fans, the day will kick off early at 3 a.m. Eastern Time and feature a marathon of episodes from 8 different Star Trek TV shows. At 3 p.m. Eastern Time, the marathon pauses for global panels hosted by Wil Wheaton, aka Wesley Crusher, and Micah Burton, which is the daughter of TNG star LeVar Burton, as well as other stars from the franchise. Then the marathon resumes at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time and runs until midnight. The event will stream for free on the Star Trek website, and doesn't require a CBS All Access subscription. Now for our favorite Lightning News, Apple News. On Tuesday, August 31st, Apple released iOS 13.7, adding support for new exposure notification system for powering COVID-19 tracking. The system is an extension of the existing coronavirus contact tracing efforts, but it removes the burden on states of having to build a dedicated app. The native support was expected as it was announced when the exposure notification API developed collaboratively between Apple and Google was revealed in April, but at the time we didn't know exactly when this would be released. Next, this is what the settings pane does look like when in the update inside of settings. Anyway, next, India is banning another 118 apps said to be either based in or linked to China. PUBG Mobile, Alipay, and Baidu are among the biggest names on the list. India banned TikTok, WeChat, and more than 50 other Chinese-based apps in June, suggesting that they were a security issue. The country's Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology said that it had received complaints about apps stealing and surreptitiously transmitting users' data in an unauthorized manner to servers which have locations outside of India. The ministry's announcement doesn't mention China specifically, though. Moving on, during a surprise announcement on Thursday, September 3rd, Nintendo revealed the latest Mario Kart, but this was an unexpected one. Mario Kart Live Home Circuit is a racing game, but one where players use their Switch to drive remote-controlled cars. The cars, along with a virtual race course, then appear on the Switch's screen. It's sort of an augmented reality take on the iconic racer, and it was developed in partnership with a New York-based studio called Velan Studios. This seems really cool, and I really hope that I get to try it out. Continuing, new GoPro Hero 9 leaks show off a full-color front-facing display. Feature revealed in leaks renders obtained by WinFuture wouldn't be a first for GoPro. The company added such a screen to the last year's GoPro Max camera, but that device is a 360-degree camera costing $500, so adding one to the presumably cheaper Hero 9, so filmmakers, especially vloggers, can see in full color what the shot looks like as they record is a nice touch. The leaks indicate a new front-facing screen which would remain the same size as the current monochrome status display, which sits on the front next to the lens, as you can see here. That screen typically displays information like frame rate, resolution, and other recording info, but this context could showcase an in-progress live feed while you record. Over to Samsung news, the Galaxy Z Fold 2 will launch on September 18th for $1999.99, or about $2,000 US, but pre-orders are available right now. Samsung has also secured support for the Z Fold 2 from all 3 major US carriers, Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. The reason Sprint isn't in the mix is that T-Mobile and Sprint have merged. Anyway, it will also be available unlocked on Samsung's website. Samsung's entire strategy with the Z Fold 2 is to convince potential buyers that it has overcome the design problems of the first Fold with a glass screen, stronger hinge, and better protection against debris. The Galaxy Z Fold 2 is technically the third iteration of Samsung's folding design, and even more technically, it's Samsung's fourth iteration of its hinge mechanism. Next up, Trump's ban on Chinese drones is making fighting wildfires harder, says a leaked memo. Apparently, last year, the U.S. Interior Department, which is responsible for maintaining federal land, grounded its fleet of more than 800 drones over fears that they could be compromised by Chinese spies. Now, an internal memo from the department leaked to the Financial Times says the decision is hampering the federal government's ability to fight wildfires. Without the drones, says a leaked memo, the department has been forced to use crewed aircraft to start fires or not carry out burns at all. An internal analyst from the department found that by the end of the year it will only have carried out 28% of the controlled burns it had planned to do with its fleet of new drones. In our final piece of tech news, OnePlus may have accidentally revealed a first look at the OnePlus AT thanks to an image found by the latest Android 11 developer preview for OnePlus 8 series devices by Oxygen Updater. The leaked image doesn't offer much to go on, just a front-facing view of the device, which appears to be pretty similar to the existing OnePlus 8. It's possible that this image is simply a placeholder for a different final design for the OnePlus 8T, but given the timing of the leak and the fact that it was found on OnePlus's own firmware update, it seems likely that this will be what the OnePlus 8T will look like, or at least what the front of it will look like. Presumably, OnePlus will have more details to announce on the OnePlus 8T in the coming weeks. Okay, that just about wraps up this episode of Tech Weekly. Thank you to everybody that is watching. If you enjoyed it, check out our Tech Weekly podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Make sure to also check out our new forum at thetechprofessor.net. And I'm Jake, the Tech Professor. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay safe. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.